what's up? I'm Marty with NextLevelGuitar.com. I'd like to show you some cool little groove R&B funk devices for rhythm that I've learned along the way. And basically, this is something you can add to your basic 7-chord bar chord. So what I'm playing right here is an A7 chord, standard issue. Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm adding just a couple of things to it, but you can still, a good way to approach this is to still just kind of think of it, you know, as revolving around this A7 bar chord. And what you do is we're just going to add, you know, a little seasoning around it, you know, a little Tabasco, maybe a little cheddar, some guac, whatever, okay? So basically, we have this A7 chord, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what you might have learned already. It's actually one of the first chords that a beginner would learn is, you know, your standard D7 chord, which actually kind of just looks like an upside down D. But you know, we take this D7 chord, and something that's kind of cool, I'll approach it theoretically here just a little bit. If I take this little D7 chord and only play the notes that my fingers are on, if I scoot it up a whole step, it's now the notes of an E7 because it went up one step from D. So the next letter in the alphabet from D is E. So
it's not J?
Well, there is the H chord.
Right.
But that's so advanced, I just wouldn't...
Isn't that augmented?
Yeah, I wouldn't want the camera to melt.
Alright.
Alright, so anyway, take the D7, move it up a whole step, now it's an E7. Now in music, E to F is a half step. So if I move it up a half step, it's an F7. Okay? Move it up another whole step, it's a G7. And after G, there is actually no H. Sorry to disappoint. But we move it up another whole step, and now it's the 3 notes that we need for an A7. Okay? But if that was too much for you, we can just kind of look and see where we're playing it. And basically, we can just look at the ring finger is on the 9th fret. And yeah, I mean, even that chord alone in the blues, like, you know, you can just throw that in there. So anytime you have an A7, this little D7 shape is right there always. Okay? Well, you know, something that's really cool is instead of just playing that, I like to slide into it from a half step. So my ring finger of that little chord shape is now on the 8th fret, and I'm just going to play it and then slide it, just like that. Now I could take the regular A7 chord, just like that. And now it's a whole new little shimmering, beautiful little morsel of sound that you can add right with that A7 chord. Okay, but something to kind of connect the two together that I like to do is I slide that up, but then what I do, instead of just going straight to the A7 chord, I actually, you can look at it as like a D bar chord. Basically my ring finger is covering on the 7th fret, the D string, G string, and B string. I hit that, and then I hammer on the notes of the A7 chord like this, which, you know, we've heard that in a lot of songs. You know. Okay, but so when we combine them together, so I think that's a lot more interesting than just, you know, now we have a little bit of spice. And if we, you know, want to approach it in a more funk style, that was kind of bluesy, but if we want to get more funky, we can get this 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, kind of add that as... So basically, I'm going to just do little punches with the same concept with the 1E and a 2E amp, but I'm going to mute it a lot in between. That idea actually can also be thrown in when you're soloing too, which is kind of cool. Like if I'm jamming out. Once again, this was Marty with nextlevelguitar.com. Come on by our site. We got a lot more to check out. We've got funk, blues, rock, everything you need for your guitar necessities. There's a lot to check out, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here and show you guys some of the stuff that I like to do. So thanks a lot.